Alright, welcome back. In this video, we're going to get to know the input function and create our first program. The input function is used to prompt the user of your program to enter something. You can optionally show a message to the user with the input function before waiting for them to enter the information needed. The way to do so is by typing the message you want to show as a string as the input parameter of the input function. The input function shows the message if given, waits for the user to enter something and hit enter, and then returns the entered data as a string. You're going to have to store that data from the input in a variable if you want to use it later. You're also going to have to convert that data into the data type you want if that is not a string. Now let's head over to Pycharm and use the input function to make our first program. Alright, so I'm in Pycharm. I've created a new project. I've named it first program. And I've also created a Python file in that project called first program. And the program I want to write is a very easy one. It asks a bunch of information about the user and then displays that information in a certain format that looks good. So the first information I want my user to enter is going to be their name. For that, I'm going to use the input function that we've just talked about. The input function works like this. You just write an input with the parentheses like any other function. And in the input of the input function, you can give it a string that will be displayed as a message of your input, so your user knows what to do. And the message I'm going to display is going to be, what is your name? So my user knows that they have to enter their name now. But the information that they give in here is going to be a string that is going to be returned by the input function, but it's not going to be stored anywhere. So I'm going to create a new variable and store that information in that variable. I'm going to call the variable name. And just like that, I'm storing this new information that the user gave in a variable called name. And that information is a string given by the user. Next, I'm going to store some other information about the user. I'm going to ask about their year of birth. I'm going to create a new variable for that called year of birth. And it is going to be equal to input when were you born. But the problem is that whatever they're going to enter is going to be stored as a string. So I'm going to have to convert that into an integer to get a number. So I'm going to write int, and I'm going to wrap this whole thing up in the parentheses of my int, as we've learned in the last video. I'm also going to add a year here in the parentheses so my user doesn't get confused with what do I want from them. Okay, now that we know the year of the birth of my user, I can actually calculate the age of the user. So I'm going to create a new variable called age, and in that age I'm going to calculate their age. Well, this year, as I'm recording this video, is 2020. So I'm going to write in 2020 minus the year of birth, and that is their age. I'm going to store that in age. Alright, so the next thing I want my user to enter is going to be their place of birth. So I'm going to create a new variable called place of birth. And in that variable, I'm going to store the input function again. Input. And the message I'm going to show is, where are you from? And I'm going to add a little space after each question I'm asking. Alright, so the next information I want my user to tell me is going to be their job. So I'm going to write job equals, job is the variable, input, and the message I'm going to show is, what do you do for a living? And a little space there. Alright. Now that I have enough information about my user, I'm going to write my print statement to wrap up this program that I've been writing. Print, and the first thing I'm going to say is, hello. Here are the information that I got about you. And since that's not all that I want to print, I'm going to give more to my print function. I do that by using the comma. I'm going to put a comma here, and then I can add more to it. And then I'm going to say you are, well, some amount, again, comma, year of birth, years old. And then I'm going to say, well, not year of birth years old, but age years old. It must be age years old. My mistake there. Age years old. And then I'm going to say you are from, and again a comma, place of birth, and again comma. Go to the next line to make it a little bit better to read. The whole code must be good to read. And then I'm going to say, again, a string, your job is job. So that's it. Let's see how it works. Let me see if I have everything correctly. Hello, here are some information I got about you. You are this years old, you're from this place, and your job is, oh, I forgot to put in the name, of course. Your name is, and I'm going to put a comma in here, name. And comma, and that should be it. So let's give it a run. It asks, what is your name? And it prompts me, the user, to enter my name. I want to say algorithm. Hit enter. It says, when were you born? I'm going to say 1995. It says, where are you from? I'm going to say Persia. And it says, what do you do for a living? I'm going to say teacher. Type teacher correctly. And it says, hello, here are the information I got about you. Your name is Algorithmi. You are 25 years old. You are from Persia. Your job is teacher. Okay, it works correctly, but as you can see, there is no point, no comma whatsoever in here. So I'm going to have to reformat this print statement a little bit better. So let's make it better. After the name in here, after Algorithmi, there must be a point. So I'm gonna just, in my code, I'm gonna say plus string point. And in here, you're so many years old, again, point or comma, I don't know. You'll say comma. And this is going to be, again, a comma. You're from this place. Well, this place plus a string with comma in it. And your job is that plus a string with point in it. So my sentence is over. So let's give it a run again. What's your name? Algorithmi. When were you born? 1995. Where are you from? Persia. What do you do for a living? Teacher. Oh, teacher, I misspelled teacher, but that's not a problem. You can spell it correctly. It's not a problem. It depends on the user. Hello, here are the information I got about you. Your name is Algorithmi, comma, you are 25 years old, comma, you are from Persia, and your job is teacher. Okay, maybe it's better to put an and in here instead of the comma. Let's just say, and your job is teacher. Give it a run again. Algorithmi, 1995, Persia, what do you do for a living? Teacher. It says, hello, here are the information that I got about you. Your name is Algorithmi, you're 25 years old, you're from Persia, and your job is teacher, but Persia and are put together. So I need to, okay, when you use comma, it takes care of the spacing for you, but when you use the plus, it doesn't do that. So it's better to actually use comma in this place so it looks better. Again, Algorithmi, 1995, Persia, teacher. Hello, here are the information I got about you. Your name is Algoritmi, you're 25 years old, you're from Persia, and your job is a teacher. Alright, that was it for our first program. Our program works correctly. And I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Subscribe for more. In the next video, we're going to have lots of examples, lots of very interesting examples using exactly input and print functions. Stay tuned.